Welcome to Ethereal Threads, Episode 9, with Eugene Tassani. Thank you for listening to my laid-back California cerebral vibe with the twang in my voice that makes me sound a little pretentious. Oh, it is what it is, and I'm working with what I have, which is funny because when I sing, my pitch is actually in the mezzo-soprano range, so my singing voice doesn't really sound like my speaking voice. Anyway, I'm like a walking contradiction, and somehow I make it make sense. So if you've made it to this point in the podcast, then presumably you have no problems with my vocal intonations. Thank you for hopefully reading the Biokovo series and listening to me speak about spiritual parallels within modern contexts. In this episode, I would like to talk about extremism. But the kind of extremism that I'm talking about isn't terrorism. I'm talking about yin versus yang and the either or societal model. For example, if a woman says that she's abstinent and has no interest in casual relations, a non-gentleman might tell that woman to join a convent because the immediate correlation in his mind probably sounds something like this. Well, if she's not into physical relations, then she must be a prude like a nun. So let me reiterate, this would be a non-gentleman's perspective and not a well-mannered, respectful man who understands a woman's value and sanctity of choice. Another example, let's say Nevada wants to crack down on prostitution, so they implement awareness campaigns, and the awareness campaigns work, but then a theoretical void occurs and pedophile networks try to move in and take over to appease the libido-driven persons who visit certain areas of Las Vegas. Those who are malevolent-minded go from one extreme, like prostitution, to another extreme, pedophilia, rather than looking for creative solutions or alternative solutions. And for the record, prostitution doesn't even make the top 10 list of the world's oldest professions. The oldest professions include carpenters, astronomers, navigators, scribes, treasurers, and so forth. I will post a link in the description section so you can research for yourself. So the reason we are seeing more extremist ideologies stems from hidden hands of power that control the population with divisiveness. As you can see in the Biokovo Code 2, Erebus doesn't hesitate to set in action a cascade of catastrophic events when things don't go his way. Some theorists would explain that men and women are hardwired to react with vengefulness, hostility, and violence in the correct circumstance. However, those are the ways of ancient Cain, Abel's slayer. If we want to evolve spiritually, we have to overcome Cain's faults, not encourage and reward them. When I put together the free course on teachable.com, titled Middle Winger, Winger, Middle Winger. The goal was to get people to utilize both their right and left brain to find middle path solutions. And where have we seen this pattern before? When Moses parted the Red Sea, the waters receded left and right, and the Israelites, Judahites, and Benjamites walked right up the middle. What are some other extremist scenarios that you can think of? I can name a few. More than a few. I can name these. Kill or be killed. Choose the lesser of two evils. Yes or no. High or low. Nice or mean. Hot or cold. We hear these terms in casual conversation and identify the inferred parameters. But our instincts also tell us, well, wait a minute, that's not quite right. Instead, think about the middle options. So instead of kill or be killed, exist. Instead of choosing the lesser of two evils, how about choosing the greater of two goods? Instead of yes or no, what about maybe? Instead of high or low, what about the middle ground? Instead of nice or mean, what about respectful? Instead of hot or cold, what about tepid? And on that last point, our mind also knows that we have to use certain amounts of hot and cold to get the desired temperature. So I would argue that mankind is actually more exploratory, but those in upper echelons want to train our minds to think in terms of divisiveness or opposites. Even our intersection lights understand we have more options than go or stop, but rather go, green light, prepare to stop, yellow light, and stop, red light. Now, this theory only applies to our perception of reality and not actualities like biology. God created male and female, period. But he also created animals, plants, energy, dark, and light. Some of those creation contain both male and female reproductive organs simultaneously, like earthworms and parrotfish. So we can see there are exceptions, but from a philosophical standpoint, there is much more fluidity. Here's a doozy for you. Is there anything between on and off? If I ignite a light, then the opposite would be to extinguish the light. But is there anything that exists between those states of permanence? The middle between on and off might be called standby, flicker, pause, liminal, or even becoming. This can be described as a place of tension, ambiguity, or potential, often where the most powerful transformations occur. And from a spiritual perspective, well, where is earth? Let me answer that for you. Earth is between heaven and hell. Scripture describes the criteria and the invisible positioning between two opposite realms. So earth is where the most powerful transformations occur. And the most powerful catalyst for that transformation is Christ. Christ understood how to navigate around these contentious, opposing pitfalls while staying focused on the kingdom of heaven. Look for the middle paths in your own life. You might be surprised at the various options. Please join me in episode 11, where I talk about biblical misconceptions regarding curses. Thank you for listening to this episode, and I hope you've enjoyed the topic of extremism.